Hi, today I'm going to be talking about Buffaloberry versus Russian olive. I'll show you the actual difference because the differences are actually huge, and then this way you'll be able to recognize the difference between the two. Because when I've had people come onto my property, which I live on 40 acres, some have said that this is Russian olive and others have said, oh no, it's Buffaloberry. So I did my research and I want to show you the differences. No leaves, but don't need the leaves to recognize the difference between the two. Just want to show you, and I'm going to go to where I can find some thorns, and there's thorns everywhere here. Just be careful on how you actually hold these trees. So here we go. First distinction is you're going to find in the fall, you're going to have the red berry, and you're going to have, almost looks like they're buds, but that's because all the leaves have fallen off. Now, the big distinction in the Buffaloberry is that when you do come across a thorn, you're always going to have a thorn on the other side. Now, these thorns are extremely sharp, and they are sharp. And it's the same with the Russian olive. They're extremely sharp. Now let's go to another branch. And when we look, you've got thorn traveling this way. You have a thorn traveling this way. So you always have a thorn traveling through each other. Same up here. Let's get this camera to focus. And you have thorn this way and a thorn this way. And this is throughout this entire plant. Let's call it a tree, brush, scrub. The other two is that I'm going to be pruning these because what's happening is they are kind of becoming extremely messy. And I want to be able to give the black spruce, I believe that is, a chance to grow on this side. So let's take a look further. Here we go. We've got thorn on this side and a thorn on that side. So in the Buffaloberry, your thorns always travel through. Now let's go take a look at the Russian olive. Now here is my one and only Russian olive. I'm going to keep it that way. Now, when we come up to a Russian olive, immediately we can see it still has leaves on it, whereas the Buffaloberry didn't. Yeah, there is. You see this? It still has its olives. There's quite a few. You can see that. Now, what about those thorns? Let's take a look at that. Let's be careful on how we move around a Russian olive because these are extremely sharp. But here's the other. Thorn here, no thorn here. You have to travel down and there's another thorn. So if you look across, thorn here, but no thorn on the opposite end. Thorn here, but no thorn here. Know that with the Russian olive versus the Buffaloberry, you have a thorn, but you have no thorn on the other side. They're always apart from each other, wherever that thorn is. Now let's go walk over here, and let's go actually take a look at a Buffaloberry that's right here. The same path. Whereas we know, and if you keep going, you can see it all the way through the tree. Now let's go back to that Russian olive. And we're back at the Russian olive. And we take a look. You're going to see a very different scenario with the Russian olive. The Russian olive again has kind of like a greenish white berry, whereas your Buffaloberry have the red cherry. So now the question is, I've got lots of Buffaloberry on this property, and after a while it does start to look scraggly. So I'm going to go back to where I originally was, and I'm going to show you how to prune this. Okay, this is where I originally started out. Now I can see, now that we know the difference between the two, we know that that's Buffaloberry. But as we keep going through here, we can see that we've got Buffaloberry, Buffaloberry, Buffaloberry. So when we keep looking, we know that the Buffaloberry has really expanded itself. Now, as a single tree, they do look quite nice, but when they start looking like this, they don't look too pleasing. Oh, I just ran into one. You want to be very careful with this because they are extremely sharp. Buffaloberry, Buffaloberry. So we've got tons of Buffaloberry here. Now, one thing, I do have a saw. You want to be able to purchase really thick gloves. Don't use your thinner gloves. By no means. You need nice thick gloves to work with this. So let's get to it. Cutting away. Okay. Now when you're moving this, those thorns are definitely gonna get stuck, caught and stuff. Make sure good gloves, good saw, clothes you don't really mind getting ripped. And I'm just gonna continue and I'm gonna haul this out. Now, if you had a chainsaw, it'd be way easier. I've just finished clearing out all the Buffaloberry that I want to. It's quite the pile. Now this I'm not going to put through my wood chipper. This is extremely difficult to put through a wood chipper, especially with all the thorns that you're going to be dealing with. So I'm going to keep this for winter and nicer days. I'm going to go outside and have myself a nice little fire. But I want to show you what I've done. And over here, I've kept some as nice trees. That looks pretty good. Then I've cleared out a lot of the smaller that's been around here. So let's take a look. Let's see. Oop. See some of the stumps that are down on the ground. I'm going to have to keep cutting away at this. Maybe in the springtime I'll come in here and I'll dig that further out. Now I've got a nice clean path in here so it doesn't look so scraggly with all the Buffaloberry. What I've done is I've kept quite a few and I've made them into trees rather than the shrub. And then there's others that I left actually looking like shrub. And that'll look like a nice solitary tree. And then this one is going to look like a bush. Maybe next year I might prune that one, but let's take you into this area. And this area had a lot of Buffaloberry in here. And it was leaning on the spruce trees, but now it's nice and cleared. And it looks like a nice little resting area maybe for a deer for the winter.